my foot all the way down, it just cuts traction controller right in, but whatever. Damn.
The traction control slowed me down so significantly,
Yeah.
it was insane.
Alright, so it's an exciting day. I've got one of my dream cars here. If I were to buy a BMW, this would be right at the top of the list of what I would possibly get. I just drove this thing about 15 miles to get over here towards the canyons, and wow, what an adrenaline rush. So this thing has a tune and an aftermarket mid-pipe, so it's a little extra loud, and it has some serious power. It's pretty crazy. I haven't driven a car like this in a while. 3 years ago I rented the tuned F10 M5, and that was very similar to this, of course, both 2016s. And this thing has scary power. It's got 275s in the rear, and it breaks them loose immediately. It's very fast. So I'm gonna take this thing up Little Cottonwood Canyon and give it a little shakedown and just try to keep it on the road and have a good time. So here we go. Rolling. Alrighty. Yep, so far so great with this car. It's got a couple little creaks and rattles. It feels a little bit lower end than a 5 Series, but what can you expect? But still though, it feels great. Okay. So the owner gave me a quick rundown of the modes. I'm gonna put it in M2 mode, confirm, there we go. Oh yeah, so a little extra loud in this mode, and full throttle response, and the suspension is in like Sport Plus, I believe. Yeah, this car is quite wild to drive. Rear wheel drive with about 500 horsepower in a car that weighs under 3,600 pounds is very, very fun, especially with a perfect dual clutch transmission. The transmission's great. So how is this car other than the engine and stuff? The steering wheel is great, but the shape isn't perfect. The 9 and 3 is not 100% comfortable for me, so the wheel is very good, but not totally perfect, but whatever. The paddle shifters feel good. They're plastic, but I'm sure some aftermarket nice ones would be an easy add-on. The seats feel great, but having sat in some 5 Series, this is not as comfortable as an M5 seat, of course, but feels great too. The throttle response and just the sharpness of this car, it's very intense. Wow. Alright, so this should be a fun drive. I have the shift speed turned all the way up, and it feels good. Hard to get used to the turn signals on a BMW, that's why most people don't use them. So I get plenty of exhaust noise. I'd like to get some more intake noise. If I had one of these cars, an intake modification would be on the list, definitely, right away. Makes some turbo noise, but it's hard to hear it over the exhaust. So, it's got the head-up display, but I always forget to use those. It's very hard not to exceed the speed limit of this car. It has a radar detector over here. There are, yeah, a couple little creaks and rattles in this car, but some of it's coming from the radar detector and possibly this little cell phone mount and a couple other things going on. Oh boy. So once upon a time, I drove a BMW 1994 530i. Ooh, there's a red C8 Corvette in front of us. Ooh, might have to pass him at some point. But anywho, I love BMWs. I really haven't been behind the wheel of one in a few years, which is crazy. But one day I'll own one again. I kept thinking I'd get one, then life plans always change. So the great thing about this car, it's a very fast BMW. It looks amazing. It's one of their best designs ever, and it's actually quite reliable, almost perfectly reliable. The engine only has a couple little weak points. If you really add a lot of power, the crank hub can spin, throwing off the timing, whatever, potentially ruining the engine, or potentially not ruining it, but needing repair. And there are aftermarket solutions, and those seem to be solid at this point. So that's no problem. This one doesn't have the crank pinned. It's only got, he said like a 65 horse tune or something, so I'm thinking this is right around 500 horse. I think they're a little underrated from the factory, of course. The straight six BMW is what I originally fell in love with in Stuart and his dad's E34s, and the smoothness of a straight six is amazing. It really is good. It's just smooth as can be and loves to be revved and sounds really special, really cool. In a world of turbo V6s, this sounds unique and different. These cars get a lot of hate for how they sound. People criticize them a little bit, but at the end of the day, they make a lot of unique and badass noises. BMWs are so confidence-inspiring. They have such neutral handling and just a great feel. And I can just throw this thing through some corners and power out of it and spin the tires a tiny bit, and I feel totally comfortable, as if I'm in my E34 from back in the day. And this has about the same wheelbase and the same weight as an E34, so as far as dimensions, it's sort of a spiritual successor. There's that Corvette up there. Ooh. F430. Yeah, the noises of this car are kind of obnoxious, but I love it. Whoa, little traction loss there. You know, rear-wheel drive is a wonderful thing. It takes a little more skill and stuff, but it really keeps you on your toes, and it's really fun. And it's more of an art form. Yeah, this car handles, obviously, like a champion. A competition pack would be nice, but this is just the base M3, as far as I can tell, and handles great. The noises are fun. It makes a different noise like every time. Yeah. The slower you let off, the longer it draws out the noise. Oh, I like that a lot. Yep. This car is very fun. An E90 M3, maybe I would enjoy that even more because I love NA engines, but the noises and the power and the turbo sensations from this car are very fun. And of course this would smoke an E90 M3 all day, every day, no matter what. Okay. Any cops? White-haired old gentleman. I guess so am I. Woo! Traction loss, 3rd gear. Damn. control definitely cuts in a lot. It's in M dynamic mode, and it says traction off, but of course it keeps you from getting in too much trouble, but I don't know. So now that I'm really opening this car up off of the city streets, it's fast, but I could see where even more power would be good. I suppose traction is always the limiting factor in the low gears, but when I do rev it out, it's not as impressive as I thought it would be. Not as impressive as, I guess, the tuned M5, maybe some other cars, but very quick. See, it's not that fast. It's pretty good, but I was expecting more, honestly. Yeah, I'm definitely in go fast mode, but I'm not complaining. It feels amazing, and let me see. I guess when you're breaking it loose, like throwing this car around, it's extreme fun, but yeah, I'd like more power for the top end. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Little bump there. Cutting into traction control a lot. Wow. Yep, it's just trying to spin them in third gear time after time here. Yeah, I keep putting my foot all the way down and just cuts traction control right in, but whatever. The smoothness and relative quietness of the car does make it a little deceiving too. It's faster than I think. I just hit like 88, felt pretty slow. Yeah, this car definitely has extremely high limits. I almost felt a little play in the drivetrain, and that's what I said about the M5 also. Funny. I know these have differential bushings which go bad quickly. This car only has 38,000 miles on it, but I bet those diff bushings are already bad. Oh, yep, I can feel a little kick, a little something, a little play. I don't think that's normal, so. I was worried about burning the tires off this car, and I talked to the owner about it, but the traction control cuts in so much that I'm not even spinning the tires really. Maybe hazing them the tiniest bit. And here I am cruising in second gear. When I go full throttle in second gear, I was expecting more. Of course, I'm at super high elevation here, 8,000 plus feet, but I guess what I'm saying, I could see why people put the pure stage 2 turbos on this car. The upgraded turbos, more power, methanol, E85, all of it. So yeah, this seems to be a little over stock power levels, I guess, but I could use more power, please. Going through a little bit of gas, down an eighth of a tank now. The car definitely runs cool. It doesn't heat up too much. So let's actually play with this power for a second. I have a radar detector which hasn't made any noise in a while. Okay, I'm in first gear. Well, the shifts are impressive when you rev it all the way out. It gives you a good kick while still being dual clutch. Uh-oh, hopefully this guy isn't about to bust me. So what's my takeaway so far? The sounds of this car are fantastic. The fact that it's reliable and gets good gas mileage, that's fantastic. I could use more power than this basic tune offers. Traction control really cuts in, so maybe we will be shutting it completely off later for a little bit. And overall, a fantastic car, a great looking car. The handling, of course, is perfect. It feels great. Woo. Steering feel, stiff, of course. Not a lot of actual feel, but feels good. Oh man, I would want to get some metal paddle shifters on here. The plastic ones feel a little cheap. Response at the paddles is good, but maybe I was expecting it to be even a little better. I don't know if there's a trans tune that I could do for this. We'll see. This guy's checking the car out. Wow, what a day. What a day. Alright. Fun drive. I guess after driving Teslas and stuff lately, nothing feels fast, but the emotion that you get from this car is very, very good. Very fun. And How's it sound in neutral? Sounds good. And it lets you rev all the way out to 7 something. There's the S55 looking great. There's that top mount intercooler thing which can leak, but that's like the only real problem with the car. Got this awesome carbon brace thing. I always love that. Yeah, this unassuming little straight 6 can make a ton of power. Pretty much up to about 1,000 horsepower on stock internals. So pretty wild. The wide stance of this car is legendary, especially in the rear. Look at that. Woo! Oh yeah. And this car has a really nice carbon splitter under there, looking really good. Yeah, it's a beautiful car. It's got this gray wrap on here. Looks pretty darn good. And what a gorgeous day it is out here at Snowbird Ski Area. Wow. So, what does it cost to get into one of these cars? I haven't looked at prices in a while. I think these command a tiny bit more than their M4 brother because of the 4 doors and the nice curves on this car. And I think about 40 grand would get you into one of these, maybe a little bit more. Prices are still settling post-COVID. Oh yeah. Whoa! The throttle response in this M2 mode, wow. Yeah, I hit a little bump and my foot hit the gas a couple times. So the G80 M3, which has been out for a little while now, I actually have come around with the looks. I think they look nice. I think they look badass, especially in a dark color with that new grille. But this is a timeless design that's very easy to love, and this engine is very good. The what is it? The S58, the replacement for this, it has more power potential and more power from the factory, obviously. But oh, cool. Take it easy on the dual clutch. Didn't let it roll back. There we go. So this compared to the new one, of course I haven't driven the G80. It has the ZF8 speed, and I love that transmission. It's my favorite automatic, but I think a dual clutch is more appropriate for this car. But then again, that adds all-wheel drive, and that's pretty much why that had to happen. So all-wheel drive would be nice, considering this has no traction in the first couple of gears. So, they're definitely very different cars in a lot of ways, but very similar in a lot of ways. For the money, of course, I would get this, do some mods to it. It's just the factory turbos on the S58. They can go, they can do like 800 horsepower on the stock turbos apparently, which is crazy. And these do a little bit less than that. So like I mentioned, I'm feeling that play in the rear end. I think it's the differential bushings, if I had to guess, but it's not ruining it. Apparently fixing that up though actually really helps the car to hook up and allows the rear wheels to do what they need to do more effectively, and maybe I'd be getting more traction in the low gears on a bumpy road with the rear differential fixed up. Making a lot of noise here, but a straight 6, it truly is smooth, of course. Just chilling at 4,500 RPM. It's totally smooth. It's a nice reassuring buzz. Yeah, this thing corners amazingly. Totally flat. Just stiff, super stiff. The brakes don't feel as good as I would expect. Like I say, every time I rent a car, I think it needs new brake fluid. I think this car has had virtually zero maintenance, being low mile, but the brake fluid feels mushy. The brakes don't have a great feel. They're pretty stiff like a normal BMW, not as stiff as an M5 or the X5M I've driven. So yeah, at this point I'm enjoying the car more for its noises than I am the power, and that's fine. The noises are amazing. When I rented the Model 3 Performance 3 years ago, I was making M4 noises in the review as I drove it. So when I think of a gas-powered car, I think of these cars with this transmission, this engine, and just the cool noises that they make, and the interactive driving experience, you know, shifting and spooling up turbos and whatnot, compared to a Tesla or other things. Gotta a Jeep in front of me. It's definitely hot in here. I'm gonna crack a little window or two. The driving position of this car is great. I guess I could get myself more dialed in with my seat, but I feel really good in this car. It feels like my old E34 in a lot of ways, but with a smaller, sportier wheel and etc. The hood bulge is really cool. This car feels badass, just like the old E90 M3. I'll just give this Jeep a tiny bit of space, I guess. Second gear. The popping is great. It seems to be a tiny bit quieter in M1 mode, but still pops just the same amount, just a little bit quieter. To buy a car to actually enjoy and maybe to keep for a long time, this is a good candidate. This is a good BMW to hold on to forever, at least as long as we're allowed to have gas-powered cars or whatever. Woo! Some turbo noise there. With the window down, you can hear the turbos. They sound good. Wow. It spools up amazingly quickly, even at this high elevation. A lot of people don't like loud cars, and I generally don't, but the popping on deceleration is just very fun. Yep, pretty loud. Let me put it in M1. Yep, I just heard it get quieter. It went back into auto. So, yeah, a little bit quieter, I think. Not by much. So this is M1. Woo! Yeah, a little less throttle response, I think. Yeah, the crispness of this car, it's great. Oh! Oh! Radar detector is whistling. So, yeah. My favorite thing is playing a car like a musical instrument, and this is a great example of that. As you get on and off the gas, the speed with which you get on and off the gas, it makes different noises. So you can modulate the noises that it makes. Very fun. So here's the fun part of the road, by the way. M2. There we go. Radar detector. I better listen to that thing and not speed, because you can easily exceed the limit quickly in this car. Yeah, while I complain that it's not as fast as I expected, it's very fast. Very quick, and the smooth straight 6 is deceiving. Every time I get on the gas, I can feel that rear end clunk, so something to be aware of. I know it's not a super expensive fix, and there's an aftermarket bushing available, which apparently takes care of the problem and stiffens things up nicely, so something to keep in mind. But other than that, the car feels very tight. As far as a sedan goes, maybe this is pretty much the perfect size. It's just small enough, just big enough. This is definitely a sweet spot. About 3,600 pounds, 110-inch wheelbase for this car. It's very good. Oh, yep. Traction control had to cut me out entering that corner as I spooled up in third gear. Wow, a lot of fun. I'll have to drive a G80 sometime and see how that is. But I imagine it would just be less interactive than this car, having all-wheel drive and the ZF8 speed, but who knows? Maybe I'd like it just as much. As far as a four-door sedan goes, this is such an incredible platform for making power. When you do fully upgrade these cars, yes, the power is amazing. These can run 9-second quarter miles and, well, 9.9 or whatever. So I have seen a video of one of these cars with pure Stage 2 turbos racing a Tesla Model S Plaid, and it was very close to the Plaid. It only got pulled on a tiny bit. So these cars have extreme power potential, and the fact that it's a tight, great looking little luxury car 4-door sedan with great curves. It's a great vehicle. I was a little afraid of this car, just expecting more power, but it's very user-friendly. It does want to break them loose in third gear when I'm going through corners. Here we are. Thank you for watching this review, if you watched it. I'm going to give this car a SAM score. I still think it's a good car evaluating system, and I'm going to stick with it.
Okay, here we go. Powertrain. Transmission. This dual clutch unit is very quick and can hold lots of power with upgraded clutches. Downshifts have a bit of lag. 9. Output. This S55 puts out great power from the factory and is one of the all-time greats with its tuning potential. 9. Personality. This power plant makes very unique sounds, especially in stock form, and the DCT slams gears amazingly hard. 10. Reliability. These cars are famously reliable with only a couple small issues. 9. Category. Chassis. Capability. For a sedan, this car does everything quite well. 9. Fun. Pushing a rear-wheel drive car through corners is very fun, especially this one. 9. Safety. This car is modern and pretty safe, but doesn't perform perfectly in IIHS testing. 7. Driver inputs. This car has slightly numb feel, an imperfect wheel, sort of cheap pedals, etc. 7. Category. Value. Maintenance. Once differential bushings are done, these cars seem easy to maintain. Plus, decent gas mileage. 8. Cost of entry. For about $45,000 in today's market, this is a serious car. 10. Long term. People are already calling these the best BMWs ever. 10. Fit and finish. A few rattles and squeaks presented themselves, but it's quite nice. 7. Category. Styling. Innovation. A great blend of classic BMW cues and modern aggressive styling. A major change from the E90. 8. Longevity. These cars seem to be the peak of modern BMW style before it got weird. 9. Wow factor. M cars get a surprising amount of respect and attention. 7. Personality. This car is aggressive and beautiful, but the wide body makes it a 10. That all adds up to 138 points, tying the BMW i8, and 2 points short of the Nissan GTR. Thanks a bunch for watching, and happy motoring.